All right, everybody. Here we are, another episode with one of my favorite Hispanic comedians out here, open mic comedians out here.
Yeah.
Mark Kraus, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on, brother?
I just look at you, right?
You can do whatever. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can talk to the camera the whole time if you want.
All right.
Totally up to you.
Man, like you already like prepped me to like get like adjusted and like I'm still doing it. Like I'm so fucking uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with how nice everything is in here. It just doesn't. Nah, it like I was just telling you, like it's fucking cool, dude. Like, man, like I just feel bad for shitting on this podcast for so long. You know, because like now I'm here, I'm like, wow, all right.
That was the thing too, dude. You fucking people keep badgering me about fucking not thinking they're good enough to come on my podcast. So I fucking thought I should have you on, dude.
Shit,
you know what I mean?
Dude. Nah, it's fucking what an honor to be on the Tugas, the Jesse Tugas fucking podcast. But actually, no, it's the Successful Failure podcast. That's an interesting choice. I mean, obviously you thought about that.
Yeah.
But that's like what comedy is, right? It's just constantly failing.
Yeah, absolutely. I had that name for something else, like fucking like a year even before I started comedy. I was gonna write a book. It's so stupid. I can't write for shit, and I thought I could write like.
What was it supposed to be about?
It was supposed to be more so like a self-help book. Like what I was gonna do is I was gonna like pick other failures who had a failure but then turned into a success. Like one of the main stories is obviously Michael Jordan, how he failed to make like his high school team as like a sophomore or something like that, and then he fucking went on to do what he did. And it's me going through my life and then picking failures that kind of like, I don't want to say that like defined me, but pick failures where it was a failure because I didn't learn from it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, because everything, like if you learn from it, then it's not a failure. That's sort of the basic idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I've done that so many times that I've become successful at it, and that was like the whole shtick of it. But that was the whole idea of the book. Yeah, and I just repurposed the name into a podcast about comedy.
No, well, I actually want to know more about it. Like, tell me about one of those failures that like defined you.
Oh, okay. So one story I can talk about is like in eighth grade, I was 13. I tried out for that basketball team for my school for like 4 years in a row, and I didn't make it any of those years. I was so bad at it.
Like,
so
so
bad
from
at
like
basketball.
junior high?
Yeah, from junior high.
So when did you start trying to make the team? Like what?
Oh, dude, throughout even high school, I tried making the basketball team, and it never even happened. Yeah, but specifically this one moment in eighth grade, it was like the last time I was like, okay, it's eighth grade. I'm finally going to get to be on the basketball team, and I didn't make it. And we went out to dinner after school, and my sister made fun of me for it, and I started crying at the restaurant.
Oh, shit. Yeah. You love basketball.
I used to, yeah. But I what I didn't learn from that, I feel like, was that just the practice makes perfect aspect, right? Like I kind of just, I wasn't learning the game. I was just kind of just doing the basketball stuff without learning the proper mechanics of the game. So that was one thing, but I never I didn't learn that while I was a child. I just used to play basketball for fun, and I thought it was good enough to make the team. But.
Yeah. Well, another thing you didn't learn was that how to grow taller, I guess. That's what's fucked up, dude. Like, cause it just made me think of that. Like, I used to have a joke or whatever about that, but it was just like, cause I knew guys like you, Asian guys, right? Fucking love the game, just love the game and put their life into it.
Yeah, dude.
Like 110%, left everything on the court. But they were like 5'6", so it's like, what are you gonna?
Yeah, exactly. No, it happens a lot, dude.
It's fucked up. But then you like think about people like Muggsy Bogues and Spud. There are like short guys in the NBA that have done it, you know. But
just no short Asians.
That's one thing, and there's only like even just short black dudes. There's like two of them. There's like it's so unbelievably ridiculously hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, to your point for real though, like I get what you're saying, dude. Like that's it's tough, dude, because like you love something, like you love basketball. No, for real though, you love basketball, and you put your heart into it, and then it's just like life happens, and sometimes I think the thing that you thought you were meant to do isn't actually what you were doing, but you probably learned a ton of shit from going through that experience that you could apply to something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the same kind of lesson. Because I did sports too when I was like that age. Like
What'd you play?
I boxed.
Oh, nice, dude. No shit. Oh my god, bro. I would have never guessed that. Jesus, you fuck someone up.
No. Like basically, like I was like always like sports. Like so when I was like 5 to 10, I did judo. Like that's actually what I did. Yeah, dude. And I was like very competitively, But what I didn't like about it, like you couldn't punch anybody, you know, like that was important to me.
Bro, I started jujitsu because I hated punching people. I did
Oh,
boxing,
really?
yeah,
No
but I
shit.
transitioned to jujitsu because I was like, this is a lot more peaceful.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite for me. I was like, this is too peaceful. Like because I would get into fights growing up as a kid because like people would like mess with me.
Yeah.
And then I could like grapple with them and like drop them. But then at that point it was like you get them in a headlock and then that's it. That's the end of it, which was actually a good thing because you don't really want to hurt people, right?
Yeah,
but I
that's
just
true.
like I guess like I was interested in boxing and I happen to live next to a boxing gym, you know.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, so like I just started, and we were like latchkey kids, so we were just always next door it was a community center and they had a boxing gym in there. So my sister actually started boxing, and then she was very good, very competitive, you know.
No kidding.
And I boxed from like 12 to like 15 or 16, like in the amateurs, like seriously, you know. Yeah, it was
No
kind of
kidding,
nuts.
dude.
Yeah, but it was the same thing. Like I had the same. Like I thought when I was at that age that I was gonna be a professional boxer one day. Like that was like what I figured I would do because I was that committed to it. It was like wake up at 6 a.m. like earlier, go run.
Yeah.
Like after school, go to the gym, like spar, work out, do the whole thing, 3 or 4 hours. Like go home, just like that was it. Just repeat every day, 6 days a week, and like it's insane the amount of like because in L.A. because I am from L.A. The LA amateur boxing scene is like one of the biggest in the country. Probably is the single biggest like amateur boxing scenes in the country. So there's like so many like people who grow up like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be a professional one day. And I knew a lot of those dudes, like the guys who I came up with. Like some of them are world champions now. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I don't know, you know, Tim Bradley is. Like,
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so Timothy Bradley.
What the
he
fuck?
was the same scene. Like I knew him coming up. You know, like, he probably doesn't remember me anymore because I was like fucking 13, 14 years old. But like Andre Ward, he lived in the Bay Area.
No way,
everybody
bro.
knew each other because it was like everybody competed in the same tournaments and all kinds of shit. My sister was like a high level like amateur, so she was friends with people like Tim Bradley and all of them. Like I was more like her little brother who just like tagged along, but like I was also competing and shit like that.
Bro,
Yeah.
when was the last time you got in a fight, dude?
Dude, so this is the problem with that. Like when you have that background, it's like you think you can fight for the rest of your life. Like you walk around thinking like, yeah, dude, I could. So I stopped boxing when I was like 16 because like I just got like I started focusing on school and shit like that. Also, like we moved, so it was really hard for me to get to the old gym. So like all this kind of stuff happened, but like yeah. So what to do? Like long story short, like I ended up going to college. Like I became like I was fucked up. I was a pothead. All this shit.
Yeah.
And then and like when you're like fat and lazy and like at your worst, then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking fight anybody, you know? Like that's when your mind is like it's like a drunk asshole, right? Like thinks like he can beat up anybody.
Yeah.
Now like take that drunk asshole and give him like years of amateur boxing experience, and that was like me in my early 20s. I was just like, I'll fucking fight anybody. I was just in like such bad shape.
Yeah.
So like that's what happened. I got in a fight. I got locked up, and I went to jail. It could have been years, like, because it was a felony assault, you know?
You fucked him up that bad?
Yeah, it was bad, but he actually didn't press charges. It was a long story, but, like, I'm lucky, dude. And, like,
Holy fuck, Mark.
Yeah, so, like,
Damn.
I spent, like, a couple months in jail in Oakland after that. Yeah.
A couple months?
Yeah, I was a few months in jail in Oakland.
Jail or prison?
Jail,
yeah.
Jail,
Okay.
yeah. It's different. It's funny, like, when you're in jail, like, people are like, yeah, I could do a year in county. Like, I don't want to go to Quentin. Like, they'd rather be in county.
Oh, in county, yeah. Absolutely, bro.
Than go to
Of
prison.
course yeah, absolutely. You don't want to go to prison, bro.
Yeah,
Fuck
but then
that.
in prison they get yard time and stuff like that. County's
Yeah,
fucked
but still,
up.
that shit's still violent in there.
Yeah, of course. But I don't know, all that long tangent, like to say, like to the back to the point that you were at, like when I was boxing, like I really thought like that's what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. Like this is who I am. I'm a boxer, you know. And like I said, a lot of people had the same mentality, put in the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
Like it's insane how much at that early age you're dedicating yourself to like a sport. You see it too with like, you know, gymnasts, like all these people who become top level athletes and start at a very young age, they have that experience where they're sacrificing everything, their childhood. Like most of these kids that grow up boxing, like that I grew up with, like you don't hang out and on the weekends and chill and like eat, go to like, you know, eat whatever you want. Like you're going to fights every weekend and you're making weight and you're not eating like whatever you want, and it sucks, dude.
It does suck, yeah.
It sucks, and that's like the life of a fighter. But here's the other shitty part, like most of those people are never gonna make it,
right?
And it's just like the truth of it. And I knew a guy who was one of the top ranked amateurs, like top, and he trained at the same gym that I trained at. And then he turned pro. Within like 6 fights, like he couldn't take a punch. That's like, it's much different from the amateurs to the professionals.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so he got like early fights. He got a brain bruise, had to retire. It was over, you know?
That bad, bro.
I'm telling you, there's some dudes, like even like Timothy Bradley's a good example. In the amateurs, he was like a solid amateur, but he wasn't like, when I was coming up with him, wasn't like the top level. There's a lot of guys you would have thought like, oh, they're going to be the next De La Hoya, whoever. But he had like something though, and it shows in his career. Like this, he had like that dog in him. Like he's not gonna quit. Like next level.
Well, you need,
you need
fucking
that
psycho shit, dude, to be able to do. I hated getting hit in the face, bro. That shit sucked, bro. And then hitting people in the face sucked even more, dude. Especially if you hit them good. You feel like you fucking just committed murder, bro. Dude, it's so scary.
Dude, like I saw Mike Tyson commenting on something like that about like he talking to his son, and his son was like, "Oh, I might want to try boxing too." And he's like, you know, like you're a middle class kid. Like there's a reason why there's no middle class, upper class kids that could become good boxers. They're all from like Pacquiao, like the hardest, like hard scrabble places. Like that's the only way they know how to get out. And they happen to have this skill, and that's what they need to get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like a normal person and be a fighter almost.
No, I don't think you can. Like, I was born in Hawaii, and we would go back a lot, and obviously that's what they do for fun, bro. And Hawaii keeps it real. They don't do any of that fucking gun shit, right? Like at most they'll just flash a fucking knife, but that's about it. Like they'll fucking scrap. Like no weapons, no bats or anything like that.
Yeah, there's like a fucking honor to that. It's funny, it reminds me of
and then they'll fucking have a beer or smoke some weed after, you know what I mean? They'll become homies. It's great.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. It's like Friday. It was like back in our day, these were the only guns we needed.
Yeah, bro. And that was it, bro.
It's
literally,
true.
yeah.
There is like that's kind of how it should be, dude. Like it's pretty fucked up, you know.
I agree. Let me see. Let me just double check if I'm recording.
Yeah, man. It's all right if we didn't. I don't even know how we like fucking got into it.
I do this all the time, though.
Yeah. We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, dude.
Sorry about that, bro.
No, it's fine. Like, am I close enough to the mic and all that?
Yeah, you
shit?
can move
I'm
it closer.
good?
Closer the better. Yeah.
A little better right here.
That's cool.
Anyway, no, but I was thinking about that, like, because you're from Hawaii. Like, you know who Brian Valoria is?
No.
He was like a boxer, like Filipino from Hawaii,
Okay.
and he was a top amateur, became pro, and all that kind of shit. But like, I just thought like all Filipinos knew all the Filipino boxers and shit.
The Filipinos love to box, bro. Like
Dude,
my dad,
yeah.
my dad and his brothers, when they first moved to Hawaii in like the '60s, they'd get made fun of because of their accents, because they're fob, and then they'd just be getting scraps for like years, bro. Like you were going for years. And my brother, or my dad tells me all the time, his older brother was just like the man on that island. Like no one could fuck with him.
Yeah, no, Filipinos can fight, dude. Like,
bro.
Like Donaire was another guy who grew up like came up like during the same time that I was in the amateurs, but he was from the Bay Area, just like Andre Ward. They're like up in the Bay, but they would come down to LA all the time for tournaments and stuff like that. So you'd see them. Like they were always good. Yeah, but like you wouldn't same kind of thing. He wasn't like, oh shit, this guy's gonna be a top pro one day. It's like you just don't know. It's crazy. You know? It's like that with a lot of things. But I think sports is especially like brutal that way because how much you have to put in, and
it's every kid's dream, dude.
Yeah,
it's every kid's dream to freaking like even talking about baseball, even right,
Yeah,
like to 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, you know, full count. You just want to you picture yourself there at night. After night after night, thinking that's gonna be you.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about that, actually, dude. People don't talk about people who don't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's something to be learned, and it's kind of to your point about like the successful failure, that sort of mentality. Because there's something like for me, like I never became a pro boxer, obviously, right? But putting in that work, like knowing how to like the training, the sacrifice, like how hard it is, and all that kind of stuff. Like what you learn from that, like the strength you get from that you could carry to something else. You know what I mean? Comedy is actually a good example because it takes the same kind of just like like I don't know, endurance, you know, and it is like getting beat up, you know what I mean, all the time.
All the time, bro.
You're constantly getting beat up. Like that's like sparring, you know what I mean? Like
you were there last night, right? At the fucking Fourth Wall NoHo.
You were there
both mics.
Yeah,
bro. That was a weird night.
That was a weird one, man. Like
both of them.
Yeah, like there's so many weird ones. Honestly, though, like the Fourth Wall NoHo, like I most of the time they're better mics in my experience. I don't know.
Me too.
It's just the people that go there, the crowd is just a cooler.
Yeah.
Like I went in this place, you know, the Hollywood Comedy. Do you ever go down there?
Yeah, I sometimes.
Yeah, and like I go there once in a while, and like that's so hit or miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the cafe, the Fourth Wall Cafe, is a little more hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like NoHo's the more consistently.
Yeah,
that's
wild.
Yeah.
But I think the comedy too is also very like dude oriented. Like,
It is. Yeah.
Because I'll sometimes go to Badger and Jam here.
Yeah.
And that one's weird.
Yeah. I've been there once, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not. I just want to check it out. You know, I was like, I'm not. You're across the street, basically, right?
Yeah,
From there?
exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, and you'll go to NoHo because it's just like you could. Like you should be able to. It's fucking weird that at open mics, like you could feel like you're crossing the line. You know what I mean? Like that's the place you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, but that I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. It's weird to me that there's actually so many like open mic comics who are very like, oh, you can't say that like that.
It's wild.
You wouldn't think. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The thing with I say it's a lot about you. I just like you should do comedy more outside of LA because I think everything you do is fucking. It's I appreciate your perspective you have on things and the way you talk about it.
Thanks,
because
man.
it's very you say it very courageously too because it's like very. I mean, you'll say words that like right off the bat, like, oh, geez, where's this guy going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
true. Yeah.
But it makes sense. Like if you like. Everything you say to me just makes sense. I'm like, oh, that's fucking interesting. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think like what happens a lot of times, like people get hung up like, oh, you said that word. I'm not listening to you. Fuck you.
Exactly.
You're whatever. But that's sort of the point. It's like, can we examine that? Why you have such a strong reaction to just a word?
And that's what I'm talking about, the courageous part, because like with you're able to sit in it, right? And articulate why you feel that way. Where someone like me, if it gets dead quiet like that, I'll just say something like, you know, retarded or something like that just to get like a shocking reaction as opposed to it being silent. That to me is just like,
well, thanks for noticing. Not everybody sees that. Like some people, they're just like, oh, like they think, you know, I'm like talking about a certain topic because like I want to like get people like, oh, you're not supposed to talk, like trying to purposely be controversial and shit.
No,
it's actually not that at all. It's like it's because it actually interests me, like for one thing, and I want to be able to examine it and actually like talk about it in a way like why do you feel so strongly about this topic or whatever it is, and like maybe there's a different angle. I don't know, but like, and I think also part of it too is like I'm not that far into this. Like I'm a year and a half in, and I think like I was thinking about this. It's like being in a relationship with somebody. Like when you're first in a relationship with somebody, it's like very physical. It's like there's a lot like it's very new and it's exciting and all this kind of stuff. And as it evolves, it gets much deeper than that, you know, like, and you really start to grow as a person, like you challenge each other, like all this stuff happens. Like, and if it's a good relationship, the growth of each person aligns and mirrors, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like I don't know, I'm not trying to like be like fucking too deep in shit, but it's like that. So I think of it like, cause I've been in a long-term relationship and I know you've been how long you been with your girl?
7.5 years.
Yeah. So it's like that. I'm sure when you guys are first going out, it was just like, you guys are having sex all the time and all this kind of shit. But like over time.
Oh, we still have sex all the time.
Well, there you
guys.
go. That's
Don't
the
get
difference.
twisted, you know what I'm saying?
That's the difference between you and me. Like, we don't. I got 2 kids. That's why. Like, that shit will end, you know, once. For a while at least, because it just gets so fucking crazy. Like you're just all your focus goes on the kids. But whatever.
Yeah.
But like with comedy for me, it's like I'm not that like I'm a year and a half in. So for me, I'm still like kind of in that phase of the relationship where it's like, oh yeah, you could talk like all the shit you thought like in regular life you can't talk about, you can't say certain things. Now you have a platform where you could actually talk about it and you could like really like examine it honestly, not because you're just trying to be like controversial or whatever the fuck, but because it's like like you've never had an opportunity to talk about it before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm like the shit that I'm talking about, I'm excited to talk about it because I've never been able to talk about it with anyone, you know? And now I can like really examine it and look at it and like, oh, and do that. But I see it also as kind of that early part of a relationship where it's like exciting and it's like, oh, I could talk about this shit and all this. And I know that it's gonna evolve. Like at a certain point, that shit's gonna start to get kind of boring anyway. You know what I mean? Like you're like, yeah, ideally a relationship with somebody, you're always gonna be like fucking, it's exciting all the time. It's not. It's just not going to be that, you know. But other things will be exciting. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that'll be really interesting too. So I'm kind of looking forward to it because I've noticed that, you know, I like you said, like I take a lot of fucking heat. You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro.
Yeah,
You do.
And some people like the vibe, you know, that I get. Is some people like really get what I'm doing and they're like kind of appreciating. They're like, oh shit, that takes courage to actually do that. Thank you. And other people are like, oh, this guy just wants to be like fucking edgy. And
just
I'm like,
a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking be edgy. It's like, I don't want to be boring. Like
it'd be one thing if you fucking had like a premise and then you just did something like I did where you are controversial, right?
Yeah.
Or the way you do it is where you bring up a premise and then you examine it.
Yeah.
Right, and you try to make sense of it.
Yeah. That's
like,
what I'm
right,
trying to
and
do.
then you find the funny in that.
Yeah.
Dude, like that to me is again takes courage and something maybe. Hopefully a year and a half in, I can do better. You know, because you see some of the stuff I say, it's very controversial.
Yeah. But what I appreciate about what you do too is that like you're trying everything. You're like actually like we were talking about, you know, the thing you did on Sunday, like at the show, like the Trump shit. It works, dude. Like it was funny. I've never seen a Filipino Trump one, right? But it was also like the shit that you were saying from the perspective. It was like smart and it was like interesting too. It wasn't like you have immigrant parents. Like how the fuck is a Filipino dude with immigrant parents gonna be pro Trump? But there's a reason why, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And it's putting that into like the conversation. Like why? Like maybe it has something to do with like really vocal, annoying, like woke liberal people who like make people feel like they have to be extreme like them, otherwise fuck them. And then it's like taking a stand against that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why it's interesting. Like the shit that you were talking about, like doing at that show, like
well, just for context, he's talking about Danny Mullen and Leo DiTavio. They had a basically he's doing a video like it felt like a mini mockumentary kind of.
Yeah, I hope it's not too much of a mocking like on us.
No. I mean, I don't really care. I fucking love it. No, but he held a show and we did a comedy thing, and then I went out there dressed as Trump and just kind of did the whole Trump MAGA thing. And bro, honestly, that was the most fun I've ever had on stage. I was like,
no kidding. Like that's honestly too, like, because I've seen you a lot, like not at shows, like at mics and stuff that, but you were just like obviously like in it. You were in the moment, and that's why it worked partly too, because it's just being present and being in, like, it was good, dude.
Yeah, I think the get up helped me though.
Sure,
like, you
it's
know
like
what I mean?
being a character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it helped me like kind of just like hide behind that character and was able to be free.
There's something to that. I bet you could do Biden.
Biden?
That would be kind of be Biden. Do a Biden.
Pause. No.
You'll figure it out. I'm telling you.
I actually am making a real Biden. I don't think.
Yeah, I think you could, dude.
Where is everybody? Where's the microphone? I don't know. I guess
there's something you could do with it. I'm telling you. I think Trump is probably like it comes more natural because you could be bigger with him. Like Biden, it's you're right. It's like you gotta kind of just do this.
Yeah,
you know,
you gotta be smaller.
Yeah.
Trump is fucking fun to do though.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude.
Los Angeles.
You have a good. I'm like the only person who can't do a Trump impersonation. I can't fucking do it.
I've had to work on it, bro.
Yeah.
For like 2 days, I listened to a whole bunch of like Trump impressions, and I was like, and I was just doing it in the car.
Yeah. You got it though.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it better. I want to do the one where you like it's just like soft, really soft, like where it doesn't.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I want to get that one because that's like jazz.
He's
Trump,
a great guy.
Yeah.
Like
he's a great guy.
Yeah. You got it, dude. Like it's funny at the show too. Like you were frazzled. Like when I saw you before. Like I forgot my red tie. Yeah. I can't believe I fucking forgot the red tie. You had everything. You had the wig. You had the pin.
I was so fucking mad at myself. That was so fucking awful. That red tie, bro. That'll never happen ever again.
Yeah, but no, it still worked, dude. And no, but it was funny. And then Steve Lage comes in.
He killed it, bro.
Yeah, but he's like wearing all red, and the one thing he doesn't have is a tie to loan you. Like he's wearing like a red suit.
vest,
He got
socks.
the whole thing. He came in like so, like a total rock star, dude.
Yeah, dude, he absolutely fucking killed it. Did you do some of the man on the street stuff or what? Did you get interviewed? No,
not really. No, a
Yeah.
little bit. Like they came to me like at work, like because I work at a theater.
Yeah,
like a
that's
nonprofit
good.
Theaters.
That's a good
So they
location.
dropped in. It's funny. Like Danny came in wearing like all dressed up with a top hat and like a skull like from Hamlet and all this shit, and just walking down the street in Boyle Heights. I was like, you can get your ass kicked, dude. Like, what are you doing with his like film crew? They're just like, walk.
He's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
These videos are fucking hilarious to
Dude,
me. I
like,
love that shit.
no,
he's got
like-
so much balls, dude.
He does, and that's the other thing too. Like, but like, it's interesting because he's actually a really nice dude, like a totally sweet guy.
Amazing, sweet guy, dude.
Like really
it's wild.
yeah.
Like he means so well, dude. It's wild, like how just genuinely nice. Him and Leo, dude. Like, just hanging out with him, bro. It's fucking. It was wild, dude. It's like literally just hanging out with adult kids.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like, dude.
No, but like I could see you having a lot of fun with those dudes. Like,
oh yeah.
Like you got what kind of shit were they?
So, dude, like he came over with his videographer at the place, and then in the valley, and then we came to the studio, and we went on like Sunset Boulevard after here, and it was 4:20, and then we thought we saw a YouTuber, so we got out of the car, and then we saw it's a guy named Jesse. I didn't know who he was, right?
Yeah.
So I do my humiliation joke in front of him.
Yeah, man.
But no, that was a fun time, dude. It was fun doing that, and it felt it was nice being like a side character to Leo and Danny too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean
like
that's
that.
the thing. Like they were there to see them for sure,
100%.
And then and they were really excited about that. And so like we all go up and it's like who are these fucking guys?
But going into that, I knew that, so I was like, well, I'm not going to tell jokes.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like they're not like stand up crowd. They're just they like Danny, and Danny's got fucking crazy shit to say.
Yeah, yeah.
And they like the Trump stuff, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to say the crazy shit in Trump voice.
I like though like this idea of like doing character because it freed you up, right?
It did. It felt the
there's
most free I've
something to
ever
that.
felt on stage.
There's something to that. You should explore that because like David Bowie.
Yeah.
Like he talks about like because he wrote a bunch of albums where he was like a character. And like Ziggy Stardust or whatever like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and for him like he would say like it was easier to write songs as that character than as himself as David Bowie.
What?
Yeah. There's like some quote, like some YouTube clip you could probably find.
I didn't
it.
know
It's
this about
talking
David
that.
Bowie, dude.
Yeah. That was like one of the things that sort of it freed him in the same way, because then you can kind of say because like with stand up, dude, it's like all about you. And you're like putting your whole character and yourself like to be judged. But like if you can separate yourself from it and exist outside of that, then it's the character being judged, So there's freedom in that probably, you know what I mean?
Dude, that is so fucking interesting. I never saw it like that.
I don't know. Something to think about.
I don't know how much.
But it's something to explore.
Yeah,
but it's something to explore
exactly.
because I think you're like at a stage right now. How long you been doing it now?
Like 11 months.
Yeah, where you're trying all these different things. Like I gotta blow my nose. What the fuck, dude? Can I just do it?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because I'm like, as I'm talking to you, I'm like,
no, you're fine.
Getting worse. I've been fine.
You got COVID, bro?
Nah,
You
fucking
fucking
brought COVID into
You
this?
fucking. Are you one of those vaccinated COVID people or what?
You walking in here with a
You walking in here with your
vaccine?
fucking vax card and shit? You fucking.
I should have just done this before. Like, is that Gabriel Iglesias? Is that?
Yeah, that's just. I met him. He was cool.
Oh shit, he did his podcast here.
He was my first like client. Well, him and Neil. He came on Neil's podcast, and it was the first like, first podcast I did with Neil.
I should have done this before. I didn't think about
No, you're good, bro.
Dude, there's like all these little things like you get like it's crazy, man. Like just being on camera and shit. Like I never think about stuff like this.
Like what? Like the technical side?
Just all of it, dude. Like
What it looks like
Yeah,
behind the
it's crazy,
camera?
man.
Yeah. I used to like I said, I used to work on film sets, so
yeah.
I'm so used to this.
So this is very natural, comfortable for you, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. Like this is like one of the best jobs I've had because it's like the hours are great. I get paid double than what I did working in film.
Oh my god.
I have all the time to do mics, and I don't have to fucking talk to anybody. I can just fucking sit in that room and just fucking be stoned all day.
Dude, like you fucking you found something, man. Not
Yeah,
everybody
dude.
gets this kind of opportunity.
Well, the thing is too, I fucking hustled for
To get
this,
there, that's
dude.
the
You
thing,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I said, I was fucking releasing 3 episodes a week for my podcast, just shooting it on my iPhone. And then when I came here, I like they just needed someone to kind of just be a solid producer, and I just fucking started taking all the bookings, started working, like I did everything, bro. Like we'd have some days where it's like a 7 a.m. booking, and then not another booking at 11 p.m.
Oh shit! And you had to be there for all of it. Like,
yeah, just because number one, I'm in debt, so I'm trying to get out of debt right now. And number two is just like I don't really have anything else going, bro. Like the stand-up stuff, like I started, that was new for me, and as soon as I found out quick, as soon as I realized that there's no money to be made, at least in the first 10 years, at least, bro, I started freaking out because I was like, I didn't want to go back to Hollywood. I don't want to deal with that bullshit on fucking set.
What were you doing before, like?
The last thing I was doing before the pandemic was a YouTube producer. That's what I was doing. But before that, I was like a PA on set. I'd AD. I'd written, directed short films. I got like a feature that I was shopping around prior to getting into stand up.
What brought you into stand up? Have you talked about this like a lot on the podcast?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I mean, just like, well, give me maybe answer it this way, more philosophically. Like, what is it about stand up that just appealed to you?
Just being funny. Just having freedom to be funny. You know what I mean? I was like, growing up, I'd watch like a whole bunch of Jim Carrey shit, so I was very like fucking you know, out there, and that's kind of how I would like conduct myself, kind of. And I guess in a sense, it was like kind of to like push away like the bullying and the judgment. It's like if I said this before, but it's like when people made fun of me, I would make fun of myself even harder. So that I could make them laugh, for them to like me. That was like kind of like the psychological game I played with them. And it worked, but and I'm trying to bring that into my stand-up now, right? Like, but people don't like that for some reason. When you fucking make fun of yourself too much, they don't like that kind of shit, I feel like.
Oh, really?
Or maybe I'm just not funny, you know?
No. Like, it's like, it's hard to fucking tell. Like, and then like sometimes, like, I'm starting to like learn this too, like just knowing your audience and stuff like that, because it could be so extreme. Like, obviously, like the fourth wall no hope people is like one extreme, and then like then you go in another place,
and then everywhere else is just another extreme.
It's like, dude, it's actually kind of hard. Because you want to like just be yourself and just say whatever you want to say, but sometimes you just actually can't really just say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Dude, a lot of people have been talking lately about comedy in other places, dude, like and how hard LA was. I mean, Trent was talking about it last night. How different Ohio was compared to LA.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know any other place. Have you been outside the LA?
My very first open mic was in Vegas.
Oh, no kidding.
It was literally the night before my birthday. And then I did it there. And a great experience, you know what I mean? I like bombed like the first minute and a half, and then I just went to myself, started talking shit on myself, and everyone loved it.
So you turned it around like in
I had like
mid-set?
I had like a 3-minute bit.
Yeah.
I fucking went up there, started talking about it. I kept stuttering, stumbling, you know what I mean? And then just fucking trying to pick it up. And then in the middle of it, I was just like, you know what? Fuck this, dude. It's my fucking birthday. I fucking invite all my fucking friends, my family.
All your friends were there too? Everybody was there?
And I was like, I can either bomb or I can be funny. Either way, it'll be funny. And I'm fucking bombing. And then like I just went into that, you know what I mean? But like that was and then I walked off stage, bro. I'm no joke. I walked off stage. I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again. My girlfriend, a homie of mine, and another comedian who we went to high school with, but he's been doing it for 10 years. They all came up to me and was like, bro, you got to keep doing this. And then I was like, who did you see on stage? Because that fucking sucked, dude.
Well, they saw something, obviously, right?
Something. I guess. I don't know, man.
Wow.
I'm just having fun with it now, bro. Like like a couple of weeks ago, I was getting hard on myself with the stand-up stuff, and I don't know, like now I think I was in my head too much, and now I'm just trying to have more fun with it and being more present, and it's been so good to me. It's been so good to me. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's going to change. You know, you get your ebbs and flows. And stuff
There's something to that though, like just to be able to like, have fun with it too, because like nothing puts off an audience more like than when the comic is not doing well and he starts getting upset and like blaming and just getting nasty and shit like that. Like then you've already lost, right? But if you could, right? Like, because then at that point, like, but if you could like stay up there and just like stay in it and then even laugh at yourself and do that, then you can win them back. Like that's kind of like what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But oh shit, dude. Wow.
Yeah, that was it, dude. What was your first why'd you want to get into?
Dude, like it's kind of fits in with the theme of what you're talking about, like failure, you know? Like I really thought about it. Like I've just failed at a lot of shit in my life. That's how I ended up like getting started in comedy. Like, cause I think I've been spending my whole life, like I'm not trying to get too deep in shit, but fuck it, I'll do it here, you know? Like I just feel like I have a booger. Like, am I good?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Like when a camera is like this, like I just expect like my fear is like for an hour I'm just gonna be like, yeah, like let me tell you about my life, bro. Like I want to dig deep,
booger.
and then there's the whole time there's a fucking booger there. It'd be like the worst, you know? Like this undermines everything I say. Goddamn booger.
I slowly zoom into the booger.
The fucked up part is if I do have a booger and you're like, nah, you're good, bro. Just keep going.
I would do that to you.
That just fucking blew my nose. Anyway, no. So this is how it happened. So like going with the theme of like what you were talking about. So I failed at boxing when I was a kid. I really thought I was gonna be a professional boxer, and but at a certain point, I think part of it too is like, man, it's just brutal. You know, I had no social life. Trying to make weight, like going to tournaments, like it's not even fun at a certain point. So I started like focusing on school. And then I did pretty well at school, and like I ended up, I got into college and did all that kind of stuff. And then I guess like early on in college, I was like, man, what am I even doing here? Like, what do I really want to do? And then I was like, actually, I just love music. That's actually what I like. So like, I didn't even really have that much of musical training. Like in high school, I played drums and stuff. And that's all. I could barely read music and all that, but I like to play drums. And like I was a pretty solid drummer in high school, but I could read like rhythms and stuff, but I didn't read like no music theory and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like in college I started like, and I played a little bit of guitar and stuff. And so in college I was like, nah, like this is, if I'm gonna like do something, I want to do something I really love. So I ended up switching my major to music, even though I had no like training. And it was like brutal, dude, because like everyone in the major was like, oh, I've been playing since I was 8 years old and like on all this kind of shit. So like I did that, and I was like getting through the major, and like I taught myself like how to play guitar and piano and got better drums, like learned theory, and like was fucking getting ready to like finish actually. And then I also majored in rhetoric because I thought like, so I did music and rhetoric, and then but long story short, like that's when I was all fucked up and I like depressed and all this shit, and I got in trouble, got in a fight, went to jail and all that. So I ended up dropping out of school like basically a year and a half before I graduated.
Wow.
So I came back to LA, and I was back at home like super depressed and all this shit. And this was like in my early 20s. And then I just like, I met my now wife, and we were like, before that, I was just hanging out in downtown LA, like playing guitar for money, just on the street. Yeah, that's what I was doing for like months after I first like came back to LA. Yeah, after dropping out of college.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was like, I was fucking lost. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but in my head, I was like, well, I guess this is what I'm gonna do now. And so I would be like downtown before, like when it was still like not as gentrified as it is now. Like this was like back in early, like 2009, around then. And I was just like be hanging out and just not doing shit. But anyway, luckily, like I met my now wife, and so I was like, shit, I gotta start getting my shit together. I should get a job. So just it worked out. I ended up like working as like part-time at this theater in Boyle Heights, this small nonprofit theater. And it was like tiny. It's called Casa 010, a tiny little theater, a community theater, And then like I stayed there, and then I've been there for fucking going on. This is going to be 14 years now. And since then, we've really grown. We moved to a much bigger space, opened a new space, and done a lot of really good work. Like we do plays, like free classes for kids in Boyle Heights. Like
that's amazing, dude.
It's like really good work. I'm proud of a lot of what we did. But like during that whole time, in the last 14 years, basically for like that whole time, I was, I started a family with my wife, fucking bought a house. Like we did all this shit. Like, started a foundation, like started raising.
You bought a house?
Yeah, this was back like 2014.
What the
actually.
Fuck? Hell yeah,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. Like we were just responsible,
bro,
just like
yeah.
So. I was like, I'm not going back to college. Fuck that. I hated it there anyway. But during that whole time, honestly, I was just like working and starting a life and doing all those things with the thought that I'm gonna just play music the rest of my life. So that whole time I was always playing music and doing that on all my free time. And then when the pandemic hit, like suddenly there was time, and so I had a garage. I have like a a garage that's detached.
Jesus, I'm sitting next to a fucking millionaire, folks. This guy's got a house in fucking L.A. Look at this guy, dude.
In Panorama City. So just to be clear.
Panorama City?
Yeah. That's how we pulled it off back then, in the valley. Yeah.
I live in Sherman Oaks, or Van Nuys, kind of.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so Panorama City, it's like the asshole of Van Nuys.
For a lot of Filipinos, dude.
Actually, there are, dude.
There's a lot of Filipinos.
Yeah, there's a Seafood City, like 5 minutes from where I live. Yeah, that's where, you might know where it is. It's right across the street from the Kaiser. There's like a shopping center in Seafood City.
Yeah, dude.
I live 5 minutes from there.
No kidding, dude. Okay, hell yeah, dude.
So anyway, so the pandemic hit, and my wife's like parents know how to do construction and shit. So basically, I learned, I did a lot of research, and I like figured out how to like build like a studio, like a real studio, soundproof the whole thing, like to do it legit. And then they kind of helped me like in terms of like just teaching me how to like do construction work. And they helped me a lot, but I did all the grueling work. So like 4 or 5 months every day, 12-hour days, like at the beginning of the pandemic, I basically converted my garage into like a real studio, like legit. Like it's totally soundproof, everything. Damn. And then I had over the years, like learned how to record, like I bought a lot of gear. I had everything I needed to basically, and the only thing I was missing was like a real space to do it in. Mm-hmm. So by the like September of 2020, I was done with everything. I had built like soundproof, like acoustic panels, like everything. I had built out the whole studio. I was ready to go. And then I was like, that's it. Like I'm gonna just do this for the rest of my life. I'm cool with my job because I like what I do. And it gives me a lot of like freedom. Like I'll never be rich, but I have my own studio and I can record music and that's what I'm gonna do. So I thought that's what I would do. So for 2 years, like up until like 2022, I basically did that. And like from the pandemic, I was able to work from home a lot. So I spent a lot of time in the studio every day, like working on music, recording things, doing all this stuff. And like, but it's weird when I first like finished the studio, I kind of told myself in my head, like, I'm gonna give myself 2 years. Like I've always needed a space. And I told like, if I'm really gonna do this, like in 2 years, I'll have produced something worthwhile. And like weirdly, like right about the 2-year mark, like I just started writing jokes. like it just constantly out of nowhere.
For real?
Yeah, I just started in my like, I just started writing notes, so just like and I was like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, and I just kept doing it, because I had always like had jokes in my head, but I kind of ignored them, like, because I was like, fuck that, I don't want to be a comedian, like that's the lowest shit, like, you know what I mean? Like no, because I saw myself as like a musician, like that's really what I wanted to do. And so anyway, after 2 years, like the truth is, what I realized, and I subconsciously maybe, was that. Like that, I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. Like it was very isolating, like being in a studio by myself all the time. Like just, I still love music, but I wasn't expressing myself like creatively. You know, I there's a big difference like between, like I got technically good at shit. Like I could hear music and play it, like and record things and do all of that. But I wasn't expressing myself artistically through music. I wasn't doing that, and that's why it was unfulfilling. That's what it was. So
interesting. That's very interesting.
That's a very long way. So in essentially, what I'm trying to say is like I failed at music, and I had invested like 14 years into it, and a lot of time, money, everything. Like, but I don't really see it as a failure, like because I felt like I had to like give it the space it needed. And not only that, but like during that whole time, I got technically much better. Like I learned a lot. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Like I still play music, but what I'm finding is that like I'm able to actually express myself creatively through comedy. Like, and I think that's why I'm drawn to it. So that's how it started, dude. Like that's a fucking long way of answering a very simple question, but that's what it was. And so the first time, like I started writing jokes and stuff. And then, like I mentioned to you, like I saw Neil Brennan like record his Blocks special, and I remember after that show, I went with my wife. Like we left and got dinner, and I was like, I don't need to do comedy, dude. This dude's doing it. Like he's talking about the shit that I want to talk about. Like someone else is out there doing it. I'm good. I'll just go back to playing music. I'm fine. Like Neil will run with this. Like that's how I thought of it. It was weird. I was like, I'm done, because I had been thinking about going to do like a mic or something like that. And then my wife's like, no, what are you talking about? Like you have your own unique perspective. Like you should like go out and try this. And So I had been working up towards just doing an open mic, and so my first open mic was at fucking Flappers.
Oh, nice.
Places. Yeah, and it wasn't even an open mic, dude. It was a
How did they like your stuff, Flappers?
Dude? Yeah, exactly. So I went. It was like it was my first time ever doing a mic. Was their Wednesday night auditions. So it was like 30 comics, and they were all there trying to get booked at Flappers, you know, and like that's probably the worst like environment to do your first open mic. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Just surrounded by like comics who are trying to get in somewhere, you know, like it was brutal, dude. It was brutal. And then like afterwards,
good for you though for coming back, because man, dude,
I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like what you were talking about, you know? So, like, this is what happened. Like, I went up there, like, dead silence, you know what I mean? And I was, like, talking about the shit that I talk about, right? So, and I wasn't prepared to, like, sit in it. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, at a certain point, like, I remember this is true, like, I started going into denial about it. Like, and I had this thought in my head, like, I was like, no, you know what's happening? Like they're just stunned by how good I am. Like, that's actually what's happening. That's actually what's going on here, dude. Like, and I was like, all right, I'll just go through this like that briefly. And then afterwards, like, I'm just fucking joking. Like, but I had that thought for a second. And then afterwards, like, the booker, Josh whatever, he gives feedback to everybody. I don't know if he still does that, but he did. And like, I'm like sitting there like, I wonder what he's going to say, you know, like. And
you've been the best actor I've seen in years.
And I was like waiting. No, this is what he said. He's all like, you know, like, hey, have you heard of Flappers University? You know? And in my head, I was like, wait, this motherfucker wants me to teach here? You know, like, it was like that level of delusion. I was like, nah, but like that's mostly a joke, but like
mostly
that's joke. Mostly because like a small part of me was like, it could be that.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
But no, the rest I was like, so after that I was like, nah, I'm good, dude. Like I tried this shit, like I'm never coming back. Like I just wanted to experience it, see if it was for me. And I know I was up there, I didn't enjoy it. It was like, yeah, I'm good. And so like I was done, and I fucking journaled about it.
Journaling's great, bro.
Yeah, dude, I journaled. So I journaled like, yeah, I got it out of my system. It's cool. You know, I'm good. I'm never. And then literally, like, I took a nap, and mid-nap, I was like, man, fuck that. I ain't going out like that. Fuck these bitches. Like, so like that was like my thought. So I'm going back tomorrow.
And you bomb again?
No, so
I'm just kidding.
I went back the next day, and I just talked about bombing, like, and I basically told the story I just told you, but like I turned into a joke, like this, like I like leaned into the part of my head that was like, maybe they're just that impressed, you know, like that. Yeah. And then it worked, you know? And so, like, and then I did well at that open mic, and then
you just kept doing it.
And I just basically kept doing it. Yeah, and that's basically it. Yeah.
What is like kind of like the goal? Like, what do you want to take this? What do you want to do?
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I think the real goal is like to just like keep growing, like just to get better. That's the goal. Yeah. That's basically it. Just keep getting, because that's the solution to everything. Like, really, like if your goal is, oh, I want to like fucking open for this person, I want to go on tour, I want to like get a special one day. Well, really, you just get better. Like, and that shit'll, hopefully it'll, like, those things will happen.
So your goals are kind of more like a day-to-day consistent basis.
Yeah,
as opposed to just like one final event, one final thing that'll define you.
Yeah.
It's more so just like...
No, totally. It's just like keep getting better. Like find ways to like express yourself artistically, because that's what was missing for me in music. That's what let me down, was that I wasn't able to express myself artistically. For whatever reason, through comedy, like I found a way to do that. And I think that's what, like, to your point, like I've tried all these things. Like I boxed, I did music. Like at one point I was really like focused on school. I thought I was going to be like a fucking scientist or something, you know? And all those things, what I was really trying to do is just express myself creatively. And I couldn't find the way to do that. And so like comedy is the first time that like, wow, I finally found it, but it was pretty late in the game, you know? So that's like something I think about and shit. Like, dude, you're too fucking old to be doing this shit, you know? Like, plus I have a family, I have a job, I have like real responsibilities. Like my wife was texting me right now. She's like, what time are you going to be back? And then I'm like, I'm not sure. And it's like, you better give me that time when you get back, because I need that time to work. You know, it's like that. Like, that's just how the shit works.
Yeah.
You know, like if I do a show, it's like, okay, the show's going to take 3 hours. All right, so that means that the next day I'm going to have to make sure she has 3 hours uninterrupted. Like, that's the negotiation,
Damn,
dude.
Bro. How old are your kids?
7 and 6, man.
7 and 6?
Yeah, so it's intense, dude. Like, they have dude, my schedule is so tight. Like we really give them everything we can. Like they're in a lot of activities. They go to really good school. Like they have everything they need. Dude, like they're 7 and 6, and we're doing like 45 minutes of homework every night with them because they're in a dual language immersion program. So it's very academically intensive. They're like in music class, they're in art class, they're in like tennis, like they're doing all this shit.
Good shit.
Yeah, so like the only time I have to do mics and shit is like in the middle of the day I could get out and squeeze in a mic, but like from 5 to 10 I can't do shit. So like the only days I could even do shows is like Friday and Saturday night, and that is with the caveat that I'm gonna make up for it somehow because my wife has to be with the girls for that time and shit, or if we get a babysitter sometimes, you know. But it's just a lot of sacrifice, and it's a lot of like work to just even do it at all. And then I see like these young dudes like who just so much freedom. You know what I mean?
They don't have the families, because that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this because it's like I'm starting to come to a realization that it's just like, what do I want to sacrifice? Do I want to sacrifice the career for the family or the family for the career?
That's interesting that you're at that crossroads.
It's really really like transformative right now. Like this whole year. Since I started comedy, it's just been like I've been finding myself a lot more, and I think it's because I'm able to talk about things and articulate before, like I haven't before. Because I think it's an Asian thing, but we keep things really inside of it. We don't talk to it, like. But it's just that I'm turning 35 in like a month. Holy shit, bro! Like a month, bro. That's weird.
Yeah.
But. And it's like I think I'm ready for kids, or I know I'm ready for kids. I want kids. I want a family. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, what do I do? Like, do I keep trying to fucking do the hustle of this thing and try to make myself a brand? You know what I mean? Or is my family going to be that brand? You know?
I'll tell you something about this. So basically, like I was telling you, it's a lot of sacrifice, and it's harder. It's harder to be responsible, have a family, like give them what they need, like work, do all those things, and try to pursue something like artistic. It's harder than being in your 20s, like, which can be hard too. Like, but here's the thing, and this is my experience, and this is what I want to give you this advice.
Please, yeah.
Like, it'll give you strength that you didn't think you have.
Having kids.
That's
what,
That's it. Like, you're gonna expand. Like, maybe the way you feel right now, it's like, how am I gonna do all of that?
I don't know.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah, I'm scared as fuck, bro.
But the truth is, like, you'll grow into it. Yeah. Like, you have to, and the love that you have for your family will drive you, and that's the thing that. Like, I thought about, like, what was I like when I was in my early 20s? I was fucked up, dude.
Oh, same here, bro. Yeah. Like, it's wild how we kind of have, like, the same... Like, I obviously don't have the family, but the same shit happened to me. Like, I was really bad in my 20s, bro. I was, like, fucking... Same thing. Getting drunk downtown Vegas, just fucking... Fucked up on pills, alcohol, all that shit, bro. You know what I mean? And just really bad place. And I met my girl, and it did change me. You know what I mean? But it's interesting, like... that this is happening to me right now, and it kind of like you look interested in it because like you said it's interesting that you're right there right now. When was that kind of moment for you, when you first had children? Or
so, like I was saying, you know, like being in a healthy relationship, that could fucking do a lot for you.
Dude,
on
it's
its
insane,
own, right? So you know what I'm talking about.
It's just one less thing, one big thing that you don't have to worry about, dude.
Totally. And with the right person, like someone with integrity, somebody you respect, somebody like who respects you, and you share something together like that, that'll give you strength, you know? So I feel like that probably gave you strength to like get to this point.
Oh, dude.
Right?
You have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like that whole thing, like I had nothing, bro. I was in debt. My girl was fucking providing for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing, dude? It was like a switch. I was like, what am I fucking doing? And I just kind of got everything together, you know?
No, so that's what's gonna happen when you have kids, believe it or not. If you let it. Because like everything is gonna be way harder. There's no question about it. Like that's just the reality of having kids. and there's two things you could do once you have kids. You could basically choose to just be like, I ain't doing shit, you know, like they're here, whatever, you know, I'm not changing what I gotta change. Like I'm not changing my lifestyle. Like you could have that attitude and your kids are gonna suffer for it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And so will you in the long run. Or you could be like, I gotta grow as a person. Like there's no bigger opportunity for you to grow as a person than having kids. Like that's like, if you see it that way, like it'll force you to just confront all your bullshit But you have to be willing to take on that challenge
and be honest with yourself.
And it's going to be hard as shit. But of course it's worth it, you know, because like you love your kids that much. Like I'll grow for you. Like I'll do it, you know, because it's like, of course you want to do that, you know? But it's hard, dude. It's like this has been like the hardest like time of like my life in terms of just like, I'm really trying, I'm facing all this shit. Like, and but comedy weirdly, they like parallel each other. And that's why comedy is really special to me, because I've never grown this much, like, since I started doing comedy.
Dude, same here.
Yeah, right? The same idea.
Yeah.
So if your, like, artistic growth is aligned with your personal growth, then you're on the right track. And fucking find that thing, whatever it is. Maybe it's not comedy for a lot of people. Maybe it's anything. Like, it could be, I got into mountain climbing, but it really made me start facing my fears about myself and growing as a person. Then fucking mountain climb, because that's what you need to be doing. Because, like, really, you just want to grow as a person. Like, that's what it's about. Yeah. That's why we're here, you know what I mean? And, like, but kids, if you let that be what challenges you and expand as a person, like, it could give you so much strength.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll be hard, but fucking be a man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Face that challenge.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Like, yeah, if you're going to be a little bitch about it, then you'll be like, yeah, my kids held me back. Yeah. Like, you know?
Dude, fuck that. Dude.
Yeah.
But if you don't have kids, you little bitch. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but if you let it, it'll be like, man, my kids forced me to confront all this shit that I've been avoiding about myself, and now there's no room to avoid it anymore.
Yeah. My mother's told me that since the day I turned 18. She said that when just have kids and you'll see what like real life is.
Yeah, and then another, believe it or not, it'll make you appreciate your parents more too.
Oh, dude, I already do. Like, just growing older and shit like that.
But it'll like, because this is why you'll be like, holy shit, like you'll love your kids so much, and you'll be like, at some point, my parents felt this way about me. Like you won't understand a parent's love until you have kids. That's another like crazy thing that will
Jesus,
happen.
Dude.
It's deep, dude. Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
So do it, dude. You can do it. You're ready. You're ready. And like, it just let it help you grow. Let it like grow with it. Like, don't fight it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you gotta surrender to it.
I feel like lately, like when I was down a couple weeks ago, I was fighting that shit because I was getting opportunities. People were coming to me, giving me opportunities. I was like, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Type shit. And like, I started to see the decline in things, right?
Yeah.
I was getting in my way. I was getting in my own way again.
Yeah, man.
Which is something I felt like I've done in past failures.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I get in my own head and be like, you're not as good as you think.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, you need to do something else with your life type shit.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
Dude, I go through that weekly with fucking mics and shit. You know what I mean?
Dude. Yeah. Thank God for this job, because this is like the only thing that's really...
No, it's great though, dude. Like, you're no, I mean, it's like... For whatever reason, like I feel like everybody has something that can push them to grow. And it could be anything, like I was saying, like mountain climbing. Not even that, like starting your own business, like whatever. Like fucking just going to school. Like if it's forcing you to confront shit about yourself that you don't want to confront, then that's what you should be doing. Like, so find that thing that forces you to confront your shit.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. For whatever reason, I guess for us, like, it happened to be comedy. It just worked out. And we're lucky that...
Dude, I'm so lucky, because I was very trapped in my own self, man. Like, I didn't know how to articulate. I was so angry, especially the past 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just very, like, just difficult to express the way I wanted, like, how I felt.
Yeah,
and just feeling like I'm not heard. Not even heard, just not understood.
But I think that's, like, you know, it's funny. I think, like, Dave Chappelle said something about that. Like, basically, like that's what he like. Something about talking about that's the essence of comedy. It's just people who want to be heard and understood, and this is their way to do that. Yeah, you know, and there's so much frustration because when you're not able to do that, it's you know.
Yeah,
so
dude. Quoting
Quoting Dave Chappelle and shit. I did it. Fucking did it.
Fucking did it.
Yeah. He also said something like, you know, it's the comic's like job to speak recklessly or something like that, which I agree with, and that's why it annoys me at like open mics when people are fucking sensitive as shit. Like, this is a fucking open mic. Like, this is where you should be doing this, you know. It's just weird, dude.
You should try to hit up some bookers up in Bakersfield or some shit, dude.
It's funny, like I never hit up anybody, but like I
think you should.
Yeah,
I think you really have a lot of shit to say, dude.
Man,
and
like
you say it really well. It's like a dance almost.
Man, thanks, man.
Right? Like
if let's do it together. Let's go to. I'll go to Bakersfield.
Yeah, I'm down.
Dude. Yeah,
yeah, I'll do the Trump get up in fucking Bakersfield,
do great
bro.
In Bakersfield. What are you talking about, man? We do like a duel, fucking Bakersfield. You know, Mark and Jesse take on Bakersfield. Sounds like a film.
It does sound like a film.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting to get all deep in shit. We need to get some laughs in, dude. What the fuck?
No, not even. No, dude, like I appreciate you getting deep, man. I needed to hear it because like if we didn't, I would like again. I'm at these crossroads where it's like because not to get conspiratorial here, but like I feel like the whole idea of it's gonna sound so conspiratorial, but like the Western civilization and like this whole thing with social media and how people make a living off social media. It's like I feel like that's taken away from values, family values, right? Like people are putting so much time and effort into themselves that they're really like stepping away from what I think what we've been put on this earth to do, which is to reproduce and pass down our wisdom to the next generation. You know, so that's like the crossroads where I'm at right now. Like that's why I talk about the sacrifice of either career or family. And I feel like the more I do this, I'm sacrificing that family. Right. So I don't know, dude. It's just
that's the thing, though. Like I don't think you need to I don't think you really have to sacrifice anything, believe it or not. Like because your perspective will just change. You know, like you'll just be coming at it from a different angle, and that'll be valuable too and interesting and in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's not like like by doing like I was saying before, like it'll actually give you strength. Like that's how I feel about like having a family. Like I said before, like the frustrating part sometimes is like I'm limited in terms of like how many mics I can do, what shows I can do. Not like people are like breaking down my door asking me to do shows and shit. You know, like but I have to like believe it or not, I've turned down 1 or 2 shows because it's just I can't do it because like my kids I have to do like homework with them that night. It's like weeknights and stuff like that. And like that's sort of the sacrifice, like, you know, of having, but the other side of it is like you have it gives you strength because you're like, this is part of why I'm doing this actually. This is actually pushing me, like, because I guess this is the best plan I have. I don't fucking have any plans. Like I could just keep working in nonprofit theater development for the rest of my life, you know, and hanging out in my studio making music. But there's something that told me that actually try this and it'll be worth it.
What do you think that was, dude?
I don't know, man. I'm not even sure.
Are you a religious fellow?
I'm not, dude. That's the thing. Like, I'm not at all, but it does feel like, you know, Joseph Campbell?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So he talked about this a little bit. It's like
Hero's
he says,
journey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he says, find your bliss. Like that's one of the most important things you can do in your life. Find your bliss, you know? And if you do that, you'll get little signs and little things that kind of say you're on the right path. Like just keep going, you know? And I guess it's been a little bit like that. Yeah. Believe it or not. I mean, it's true, man. Like it's funny. We were talking about that, you know, I was thinking about like, there's been a few people who've like told me in like the open mic scenes, like, dude, like, why don't you talk more about yourself? Like, why are you always like talking about
You are talking about yourself.
Yeah, I am. But like, they want stuff like, oh, you know,
your parents.
Yeah,
no, you're talking about yourself through your perspective.
Exactly.
Bro.
Thank you for understanding that. But the few people who have like been very critical of me, like that's been like basically that.
I just think they see everything so superficial.
I think so too.
And like maybe they hear like a formula and they're like, oh, this is the formula you have to do.
Yeah.
No, dude, like this is unique. This is like fucking you know, Basquiat compared to fucking your fucking typical fucking oil painting. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
Not everybody sees it that way, and that's what's interesting, you know, because I think maybe the people who like become very critical, like they do see comedy as a formula, and they feel like you need these things, and then that's how it works.
No,
and it's like the only fucking thing is, are you funny? Like that's basically it.
Literally, dude. Like
that's it.
They're
you know?
like working in film. Like you have structure, right? Like you have to fucking make sure. Oh, the inciting incident. This is what happens at the end of the Act 1, Act 2, the climax, all that shit.
Yeah.
Where sure you need those things to tell a joke.
Yeah, there's a structure.
Comedy is the Wild West, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it's starting to seem like anyway. You know what I mean? Like you can have any kind of comedy that fits you, and you can be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Neil Brennan's completely different from Adam Ray.
Yeah,
like, that's a perfect example, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and But I don't know, dude. Like that's what it is. You're right. Like all you got to do is just be funny.
Yeah, just be funny. And then there's a difference between being like hacky funny and just being real funny. But if you're for real funny, like people, then you're doing it right. That's it. That's all there is to it, dude. And it's like it's not lost on me that the people who've been like critical and vocal have been like the worst comedians. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, why am I fucking listening to these people, dude? It's like,
that's right, guys. I am one of the worst LA open micers, dude.
No, I'm not talking about you. Like, you've actually been like, you actually understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about the handful of people who've been very critical of like what I'm doing or whatever have been like the worst comedians. And it's easy to just like get hung up on that. And meanwhile, there are people like you and a lot of people actually who've been very like, no, I like what you're doing. Like, I like your perspective in that. But it's easy for me to like lose sight of that and just get hung up on like the three people who like gave me like, were like, I think you should do this. Like, I don't know what you're really trying.
Oh, fuck
you know, people, like that kind of shit. But that's like the whole fuck, dude. Like, how do you feel about the open mic scene, dude? Like, what's your like? Do you want to get the fuck out as quickly as possible? Like, am I the only one that feels that way?
Get out of like the open mic scene as quickly
dude,
as possible.
It's like I don't know.
I don't know. So like, what's a thing where I want to be more present. So I'm just like kind of like I was thinking about last night actually. I'm like, dude, we're gonna 5-10 years from now, we're gonna be looking back on these nights like last night at the Fourth Wall NoHo, and we're gonna miss those nights.
Yeah, that's interesting thing. Like, I'm not gonna miss any of that.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Like I literally was thinking about that last night, like as I was editing and shit, and I was thinking about the mics. I was like, dude, that was so bad, but it was like it was fun bad because like literally even like 6 months from now, we're gonna be looking at that. We're just gonna be like, bro, like that was just. It was fun, and that's what I want to try to be like to do more is like to really appreciate every single moment.
That's a great
not
way
only
to
in
be.
comedy but in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like me and my girlfriend right now, we're struggling with never seeing each other because she's working crazy hours. It's like music festival season, so she's literally been working for like 2 months straight, bro. Like every day type shit. It's insane. And then along with that, I've been coming here and just taking gigs because I have nothing else to do other than hitting mics. But I'm appreciating this moment where we can kind of be away from each other, so those moments that we have together is just that much more special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like I'm even like maximizing the time I'm away from her when I'm not. Well, like yesterday we didn't have any bookings. I fucking came in here. I shot a fucking episode. I was editing all day because it was like one of those things where, well, if I'm not doing anything right now, then that's gonna reflect not only tomorrow but fucking a ripple effect. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like that's where my kind of like where I'm at right now in my life where. A year or two ago, I would have been like, I'll get to it tomorrow. You know, I'll get to that script tomorrow. I'll rewrite that fucking page tomorrow. Where this one, it's just like, no, bro, like, wake up, journal, fucking, if I have to edit. If I have to prep for a solo episode, I'll prep for a solo episode. But it's always something, like, I have to be doing something constantly.
Yeah. No, like, that's being present, too, you know? It's just like, whatever's in front of you, I'm going to do that. Like,
dude.
This is what it's at. This is what it, like...
And it's a muscle. We have to, like, fucking really finesse it, and, like, we have to fucking work it out. And
totally.
But it's like... It's weird how comedy, it really branches out to life. It feels like everything I've done in life, this is really the only really thing where it's just like, it feels like it's supplementing my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not even financially, just like within, where everything else is financial, right? But it's never like, I don't know. It's just a weird thing, bro.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like, no, there's, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, that you got to find that thing that aligns with you, like with you facing all those like things about yourself that like you've avoided or like you don't want to deal with or you don't want to think about. Like, find the thing that's going to force you to like confront all that shit. So like I said before, it could be comedy for some people, it could be anything for other people, but like what's important is because when you don't face that shit, like then that's when you become a drug addict. That's when you become depressed. That's when you become an alcoholic because you're not facing those things.
You're just getting comfortable.
Yeah. You're exactly, or you're masking it or numbing it or whatever the hell else. Right.
Yeah.
But like once you're able to like find the thing that forces you to be able to give you the strength to confront it, to like deal with those things, like. And like I said, like it could be anything, you know. Like, you know, if you're going to school for somebody, could have the same effect that comedy has on us. You know what I'm saying? Where it's forcing you, like maybe you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough to like study this or whatever. But it forces you to being in school somehow forces you to face that fear. Or like I hate deadlines. I hate taking tests. But maybe by confronting that, it forces you to grow, right? Like whatever that is, that insecurity, whatever that weakness is, and that's what it's about, I think, dude. I I don't know. How the fuck did we get so philosophical, man?
No, this is good, dude. This is really good, man. Seriously, bro. Like, I don't know. These are the kind of conversations I actually enjoy better. Especially right now. Like, you gave me so much just realization. Just like, it feels like I was making it more difficult for myself by just giving myself options, right? Like the family or the career,
exactly.
That's just like it's just bring them together.
Yeah. But it's basically that. Like I had the same shit. Like before, like when I was first, like the first few months when I was doing comedy, it was so much resistance because it was like it was just like, no, if I do comedy, then I'm not doing music and I'm taking away time from music and I have to pick one. And it's like, you have to pick, like they can't coexist, you know? And that was like that. Believe it or not, I would like lose sleep over that shit, you know? Because like on the one hand, I was like, I'm really enjoying comedy. For the first time, I feel like I'm expressing myself in a way artistically. And then the other side, I was like, no, but maybe you just didn't keep working at music long enough and you're quitting. And maybe like a year from now was when you were going to figure it all out. What the fuck are you doing? You know? So, and I had to be like, nah, like, I don't know. And I was being tugged like this for months. So I actually, the first few months I was doing comedy, I stopped for like a month at a time or whatever, you know? And then inevitably I'd be like, nah, I want to keep doing it. Like there's something that made me like, nah, I want to keep doing it. So at a certain point I had to just be like, you know what, fuck it. Like it is what it is, you know? Like they're just going to exist. Like, for right now, like music's going to take a back seat. That's cool. You know, it'll always be there, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. It's like with you, there's like this conflict. No, one can't exist without the other. Like keeping one means letting go of the other, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Nah, they can coexist, dude. Like, but your mind is just like trained to be like it's like, you know, to think like what I was saying with kids. Like once you have kids, it feels like how are you gonna have time to do anything?
Yeah.
But you can expand.
Yeah.
You have more strength and more in you than you think you do. And you'll figure that out, but you're not going to figure it out until you just like accept what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like that, dude.
Well, dude,
yeah.
That was honestly probably one of my favorite fucking life conversations I've had on this podcast.
Oh
dude.
shit!
Seriously.
Well, I'm glad. Like I wasn't expected to go this way, dude.
No,
I should have prepared jokes.
No,
you know what the fuck was I doing? This is my one opportunity. I blow it on life lessons. What the fuck?
Valuable life lessons,
man. Like we could have had clips, bro. We could have gone viral. And this is what the fuck I did with it in this nice ass space. Fuck. Giving you advice. This is how I. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just for real speaking from like personal experience, and it's just interesting that like what you're going through right now is kind of what I've been through a little bit. Like I'm not even like that far.
No, yeah.
I'm a couple years ahead. I am a little older than you too. It's just like similar. I had kids a little younger than where you're at now, but not that different, dude. Like very similar, and it's cool that we're wrapping it up here, man. I just want to give a shout out to Pookie. I want to thank my sponsors up at West Coast Weed Shops. You can use the discount code Mark for. I'm just making all that shit up. I'm just fucking around. I'm not doing. This motherfucker. Pookie Nene. Shout outs. No, I don't even have.
Well, Mark, let the people know where they can find you on these socials.
Hey, thank you for that. Look, dude, I have zero following. You know what I mean?
Same here.
It's sad.
It's great. Yeah, you're not gonna gain any followers from this fucking podcast.
And I'm gonna be shouting out like, "Hey, everybody can find me at." No, and that's the other thing too, dude. I don't want this podcast to end. Let's not finish this, man. Let's just keep going, bro. Let's just keep going. I had some jokes. No, yeah, fuck it, dude. Like, you know, I post like clips weekly. You know, on my socials, nobody gives a shit, dude. Like,
you gotta be consistent, brother.
I've been consistent. Yeah. They still don't give a shit.
No, like every day. There's this guy here,
really?
Cole Clayman. Yeah, Cole Clayman right here.
Yeah.
He had like maybe a couple thousand in October, and then he just started posting, just doing shit from his car.
Yeah,
and then he would just do the captions on Instagram Live.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do that.
Yeah, dude. Gained like 50,000 followers.
That's nuts, dude. Like I just post like stand-up clips.
Yeah,
like, cause that's
another way too.
Yeah. I just like because that's all I really want to do anyway. Yeah. Like so that's all. I was thinking about doing some sketches because I had some ideas just for fun. I might do that, but anyway. All right, here are the socials. We're gonna wrap this shit up. All right. So Instagram, it's at Mark S Kraus, and I think it's the same thing for YouTube And then like on TikTok, it's like Marcus Kraus comedy. That's
Okay.
it. That's it.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, again, dude, I really appreciate you opening up and fucking talking to me about life shit.
Yeah.
And I fucking thank you for coming on, brother.
Nah, thank you for having me, dude. Like seriously, like you're fucking doing a lot of shit right, for real.
Thank
so
you,
just
man.
keep doing what you're doing. Like don't fucking doubt yourself. Just keep going. That's it.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah,
really
man.
do. Really
All right,
do.
dude.
All right, fellas, and ladies, guys.
And lady.
And lady. Yeah, the one lady that listens to it. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.